Hey there, this is Ash Gravity, and I am a queer witch, an astrologer, and a flower essence creator, coming to you with a weekly astrology forecast for the week of March 1st through 7th, 2021. If you follow my channel, you know that I usually come on and do a weekly astrology forecast every single week. Normally I put them out on Sunday nights, but there's been a lot of unexpected and big things happening in my life, so I am getting back on track this week. I wasn't able to do a weekly forecast last week, but if you're on my email list, you know that I sent out full moon in Virgo horoscopes for all signs. So if you want to know a little bit more about the full moon in Virgo that happened on Saturday for you, you can read the horoscope in the link in the description below this video. And while you're at my website, you might as well subscribe for weekly emails. That's where I let you know when I have posted the weekly forecast. I also send out the transcript for the forecast so you can go back and read it throughout the week if you would like to. And I send out other things like updates on my business. And of course, if I'm not able to come on here, I always try to send out a little bit of astrology every week, no matter what's going on. And in terms of announcements, I am booking 4 readings for the month of March. So you can also book a reading, a natal chart consultation, or a year ahead forecast, or also I do tarot readings too. And you can find all of that information at ashgravity.com. That's where you'll also find the Flower Essence Apothecary, and you can place your orders there. And then the only other thing that I have going on right now is on March 18th, I have the next Star Circle, which is a pretty casual gathering of astro enthusiasts. You definitely don't have to be an expert astrologer to come. And it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours of people asking whatever questions they want to know more about astrology. You can come and ask questions about your own chart. You can ask about how specific transits might impact you based on your astrology. And I also like to talk a little bit about current events and how that is lining up with the astrology of the moment in time. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can also find the link to register for that in the description below this video. So let's go ahead and dive into the astrology of this week. So off the heels of the full moon in Virgo that we had on Saturday, this beginning of the week could feel a little overwhelming. The moon is in Libra at the beginning of the week, and we might really feel like we need to balance and just find some equilibrium after a little bit of upheaval that a lot of people are experiencing right now. The most recent full moon has redirected some people, or for others, it's bringing up ideas or thoughts about the direction that they want to go in with their life, what feels good for them to continue doing, and what are some of the things that they maybe need to leave behind in order to expand in a new or different direction. The good news is that we have quite a few transits happening this week that are going to help with that forward momentum. That said, we are also in the dark moon time. The new moon in Pisces happens on March 13th, and so you could feel a little wandering or even lost during this period of time. And that's also typical for Pisces season. Pisces season is the ending. It's things coming to completion and culmination before Aries brings the new beginning, the new year. So rest assured that if you're not totally sure what's going to happen next, that you're actually not lost. You're right where you're supposed to be, and allow yourself to feel everything in the wandering and liminal. It's totally okay if you feel both excited and scared and sad and like joyful all at one time. Human emotions are a lot more complex than I think we often give them credit for, and this week it's really good to keep that in mind. With Venus's entrance into Pisces last week, this moon in Libra at the beginning of the week could also invite us into creative or spiritual practices. You might find yourself wanting to color or paint your nails or write poems or even listen to music. And if you want to check out the songs that have been helping me through Pisces season and obviously some big changes happening in my life, then you can check out my Pisces season playlist on Spotify. I posted it over on Instagram at @ashgravity last week, and I had a couple people reach out and say, hey, can you share this playlist with us? So I decided to just go ahead and throw it in here too. If you want to listen to some of my favorite songs for this Pisces season, you can listen to that playlist through the link in the description below this video. So on Tuesday, Mercury, the planet of communication, will create an air trine with the North Node in Gemini. And the thoughts that we were already having about the direction that we potentially want to go in and what would need to be left behind in order to pursue that new direction that happened around January 20th and February 11th are going to come around once again for conversation. This time it will be the last time that Mercury in Aquarius will make this trine to the North Node in Gemini. So it's that final, like, we've processed what we've been thinking about for a long time, especially things that maybe we've been having a lot of anxiety around taking action around. Those ideas are going to be coming up for review once again this week. But on Wednesday, Mars is going to move into Gemini and come into that air trine. So this is really exciting because Mars has been in Taurus since January 6th, creating a challenging fixed square with Saturn and Aquarius. And this has made it more difficult to take action, or it's potentially also created situations where we're taking action because we have to, but not necessarily because we want to. Hopefully with Mars moving into Gemini, we're able to actually take action in a way that feels really good to us on the things that we've been thinking about since the beginning of this year. And Mars will be in Gemini until April 23rd, and this is really going to give us some good momentum. I think it's important to note that when we have Mars and Saturn, the two malefic planets, in a square aspect with each other, it can just make everything seem so much harder. So Mars moving into trine with Saturn is really going to probably lift some weight off of some people. And you want to know what house is ruled by Gemini in your own chart and what aspects it makes to actually fully understand how this transit might affect you, but it is pretty exciting. By the middle of the week, the moon will have moved into Scorpio, and sometimes when the moon is in Scorpio, it can be difficult to know how to express our feelings, or that the way that we're expressing our feelings is maybe not the right way. And especially with some of the big changes that are happening, you could be feeling a lot of emotions all at once. So know that that is totally okay. And so even if there is a weight that's lifted or there's some things to be excited and happy about, you can also feel overwhelmed and nervous and excited all at the same time. So it's totally okay if you're feeling all of those things at once. And also, in the middle of the week, Venus will make a sextile to Uranus in Taurus, which is going to help give us a little bit of an opening to break out of our routine and create loving connections with ourselves and the world around us. This could also be unexpected creative impulses, or in relationships feeling like you want to move in a direction together that's really new and exciting too. So that's happening in the middle of the week. And then on Thursday, Jupiter will make its final conjunction to Mercury in Aquarius. And we might receive big news around this period of time, or hopeful news. And we receive similar news around January 11th and February 14th, but there could have been some barriers to celebrating or feeling a sense of accomplishment. This is the last time that these two planets are going to make a conjunction to each other in 2021. So this time around, there should be a sense of finality to what we are receiving, the kind of hopeful news that we are receiving. And also, if we've had any big changes to our beliefs, we should hold up and celebrate them at this point in time because it's the last time around. Also, if you want to put anything out into the world, about what you believe and some of the things that you've been learning about, speaking about things that other people might find unusual or unconventional. This transit would also be supportive for such a post or such an update for people. By Friday, the moon will be in Sagittarius, and it's going to be opening us up to releasing something and also potentially working through emotions from the past, some stuff that we maybe have to let go in order to move in this new direction. So the sun in Pisces makes a square to the north node in Gemini on this day, and this creates that push that allows us to really expand into that new direction. But of course, whenever we're moving into something new, there are some things that need to be let go of. But the past lessons that we have grappled with also give us the wisdom that we need to make good decisions to move forward. And I feel like this transit really speaks to the energy of Pisces season 2. There is that feeling of I'm moving towards something different. I'm moving towards something that I'm really excited about potentially, but it's not quite here yet. It's a few weeks away. And so this moment in time, it does involve maybe a little bit more releasing, letting go, packing stuff up, getting rid of some things, taking some things and donating them, clearing things out. We're still in that energy even after the full moon in Virgo. This dark moon period of time is really about clearing things away, sweeping them out of the room in order to invite that new energy to come in. This is the transit that I'm probably the most excited about. Pallas Athena is going to be moving out of Aries and into Pisces on Sunday, March 7th. So Pallas Athena is an asteroid that has been in Aries since March 29th, 2017, and it has been igniting our desires to strategize and fight for a new world. Pallas is really a patron of activists, change makers, and people who are really coming up with the pathways for us to create a different way of living. So with Pallas moving into Pisces, it could also bring up a period of time where we are releasing some things from the past. For sure, we could have to revisit some things from the past in order to kind of clean up shop and invite in some of the new energy too. But I also feel like Pallas Athena's transit through Pisces is going to invite us to think about dreaming and creativity and also spirituality in how we're approaching our activism. And one of the things that I have been thinking about is how over the last few years, there's definitely been this sense of needing to fight for justice from a place of survival and needing to just kind of maintain any level of justice that we already have, but also thinking about the future and what we would like to have different in the future. But it has also come from this place of needing to just survive this moment in time. So with Pallas Athena entering into Pisces, I think that we are going to be thinking about what would it be like to approach our activism from a place of what we really, really hope for and not just getting what we need to get by right now. And I also feel like this is going to be a period where more spiritual activism is highlighted. And this is something that I think a lot about in working in the spiritual industry, the wellness industry. I've worked basically in the wellness industry in some way throughout most of my adult life, although previously more with like healthy food and farming stuff. But there is a lot of room for improvement in these industries. There's a lot of conversations that need to be had around shaming and blaming and also access to wellness and who has access to wellness and who doesn't. So I think that these conversations and questions are going to be coming up a lot while Pallas is moving through the sign of Pisces, and they're going to stay in Pisces until February 13th, 2022. So we have about a year of this energy, and I think think that there's going to be some really interesting conversations coming up during this time. I know one of the things I have on my list during this period is to read Do Better by Rachel Ricketts, which got a ton of attention last year, and I finally got a copy of it, and I'm looking forward to reading it. So if anybody else is interested in reading that book along with me, I'd love to talk to you and hear what you think about it and what you think about this idea of spiritual activism. How can we be more open about talking about problems within the wellness or spiritual industries, and how can we be using those conversations to actually shape wellness and access to wellness in a way that is better for everyone.